like a river. A true reality me come fi deliver. Freedom, equal rights and justice for all. United we stand, divided we fall. We face trials and tribulation, so we have to make a betterment in our nation. Emancipate from mental separation. Rise my people into liberation.
Hey, good morning, Belize. It's Wednesday morning. Moose Hyde in the house and ready for some WUB. And we hope you're ready for some of it in your life. You need it. It's early morning. And we hope it's a habit that you can't do without. Belize, let's bring you Belize's premier morning conversation. And, you know, that is the reason why we're here. We're trying to get you to talk, express your thoughts, your views, your concerns, and we want you to do it here. We want you to engage in this reasoning. But before we get to all of that, first things first, I want to welcome you all listeners, all viewers, everybody online, those getting us via simulcast coverage. And we're going to start off with the weather update, of course, which is provided by the National Meteorological Service. Here is a news update that has been given to us by Krem's News Center, and we do love getting a little music into your morning. You kind of get used to it now. Put a little music into your morning, good vibes, yeah, get you stepping energetically. Sometimes it's a meditation, but right now we're going to put a little pep in your step. We've got your weather update, and according to the National Meteorological Service, cloudy spells with a few showers over most areas. Yes, moist conditions will prevail. Winds will be easterly to northeasterly at 5 to 15 knots with choppy seas. As for temperatures, expect highs today along the coast of 85 degrees Fahrenheit or 29 degrees Celsius. Overnight low of 74 degrees Fahrenheit or 23 degrees Celsius. Inland a high of 87 degrees Fahrenheit or 31 degrees Celsius with an overnight low of 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 degrees Celsius. The outlook is for similar weather conditions to prevail on Thursday and Thursday night. And looking at the tide readings, a low tide today at 6:13 this morning, presently occurring, will be followed by a high tide at 12:34 this afternoon. A low tide reoccurs at 5:33 tonight, and then a high tide at 11:56. That's this evening, and that is your general weather forecast. We now take a look at your morning news update.
The first private radio station in Belize since 1989, Krem FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
The son of now deceased Russell Hyde Sr. was shot several times last evening and is now recovering. Shortly after 8 Monday night, San Ignacio police visited San Ignacio Hospital where they found 24-year-old Russell Hyde Jr. with multiple apparent gunshot wounds to the body. Initial police investigation revealed that about 7:45 p.m. Hyde was at a meat shop on George Price Avenue, Santa Elena Town, when he was approached by an armed assailant who fired several shots at him. Hyde was later transported to the Western Regional Hospital, where he is listed in a stable condition. There was civil unrest in Tea Kettle Village yesterday following Sunday's shooting death of 20-year-old Salvadoran national Edwin Hernandez. Reports are that Hernandez was a suspect in a robbery reported by another villager. On Sunday, police visited an area near the football field in the village where they saw Hernandez and he ran. The officers pursued him, and that is when, according to reports, they got tangled in a barbed wire fence. It is then alleged that one of the officers' firearm accidentally discharged and Hernandez was hit in the right lower leg. Police claim to have immediately taken the injured man to the Western Regional Hospital where he succumbed. Hernandez was popularly known as Jose, and as we hear from one villager, she believes that the officers used excessive force.
I was on my veranda. My husband was refereeing a football game that we have Sundays every Sunday. When we saw the police coming in, when we saw him, a young man sitting right across from us, he just run. And when he ran, the police after him, we heard the first shot. About 3 or 4 minutes after or less, we heard the second shot. And not long after, we heard the third shot. I mean, everybody knows the shot of a gun. When we saw the vehicle, must be about 50 minutes after the third shot, we saw the vehicle coming back in full speed. On this road, where there's so many vehicles and kids running across back and forth because we had a football game. As far as we know from the young man, he was a very quiet person. He works, anything you do for him, anything you ask him to do, he will do it for you. You know, he's always hustling his little money. Nobody can complain and say he was a troublemaker. Even though he goes to the bar, he takes his few drinks, nobody saw him fight. No one of them has a bad complaint about the young man.
So now, you said that after the last shot, it was about 15 minutes before they moved him, or just the vehicle rushed in or out? Because we're trying to find out roughly how much time the young man spent on the ground, because he died from, we believe, bleeding.
I don't think it was such a 15 minutes, you know, because it was a quick thing. In less than half an hour that we saw the vehicle gone in, it came out right back in full speed.
Do you know what started the altercation? What or why police chased after him?
Well, I really go by on to what people say, you know. I know when he say police, he actually run because he has no papers, right? He has no papers. He's not from here. And he was scared about the police. But they say he stole. But as far as we know, he's not that type of person. He's not that type of person. If he's not working, he would hang out underneath that tree all day until he gets something to work. You know, if somebody come and offer him something, he willingly go and do it. But apart from that, we don't know him as that. Nobody has a complaint about him stealing or causing trouble.
In an interview yesterday, Commissioner of Police Alan Wiley said he understood the shooting to be accidental.
It's a very unfortunate incident. The way it was explained to me, it appeared to have been a accidental discharge, but nonetheless, an individual died, and I have directed that a thorough investigation be done by the CIB as well as the Professional Standards Branch. So that investigation is underway. All the officers have been trained properly in the handling of firearm. Can training be improved? Is there the need for perhaps more regular in-service training along those lines? I would be the first to admit and say yes.
One villager we spoke with earlier yesterday told us that the bonfire blockade was not about violence, but rather showing their discontent and disapproval of the perceived excessive force used by the police on Sunday.
I believe it is only a statement that they were trying to do, you know, call the attention of what's going on in the village. Just that. They don't want to do no harm. This village is quiet. They won't be doing things like that unless they are, you know, angry inside.
So would you say that the villagers are angry about what happened?
Yes. Yes, we all are. Yes, it's just a statement they were doing, that's all. You know, because then in the news we heard one shot. We know it's not one shot. The whole village knows that. You understand? And then he bled to death so fast. Something's wrong. So it's just a statement that we are trying to make.
Is this a problem here? The police always targeting people from the village, or is this incident separate?
I would say the incident is separate. We don't even see the police here.
Officers were sent to the village to put out the bonfire blockade and dissuade any further actions by villagers. A 15-year-old student, Brandon Ormin Valesio, has been reported missing. Reports are that Valesio was on an excursion to a water park with a church group in Flores Petén, Guatemala on Sunday and disappeared during the trip in the evening at around 5. The group contacted Guatemalan police when they discovered Vallesio's bag containing his passport and wallet with cash on the bus. Following that, the police along with persons from the trip began looking for the minor but were unsuccessful. Since then, groups have been going over to search for the missing youth. Anyone that has seen or has information of his whereabouts is encouraged to contact the nearest police station or authorities in Guatemala. Reports surfaced yesterday of a vicious gang rape that took place at the Belize Central Prison, managed by the Kobe Foundation. The story was shared when parents of a young man on remand were denied visitation with their son yesterday. The couple allegedly received the news from an inmate who was released yesterday, though nothing official has come out about the rape, which is said to have been perpetrated by another prisoner. The family believes that this may have been the reason why they were not allowed to visit their son. Police shared in an incident report yesterday evening revealed that an inmate reported that on the 24th and the 29th of November he was indecently assaulted by his cellmate. A medical examination was conducted where a medical officer classified his injuries as harm. Police say that they are investigating the matter. And that is the end of the morning news update here inside the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. News continues to come your way immediately following this show on Creme Radio with the morning stew from 9 until 1, and then a news brief at 3 p.m. and a newscast at 5:15 p.m. Creme Television is going to serve you its full newscast at 6 this evening. We take a small break and come back to get the conversation started.
Informative, accurate, current information. Crem's newscast. Local, regional, and international news. Weather and sports.
It's 6:51 Belize. Welcome back. Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. And now, we open the shop for conversation. We're ready for it. Come on in. That's why we're there. We love when the people talk. So please, jump in. The telephone numbers are 222-4299 as well as 202-4409 and 202-4469. Those are the direct lines for you to participate in the conversation. We're here with you until 9. If the phone lines are not your thing, you can link us on Facebook at WUB or email address wbmorningvibes@gmail.com. And to surprise of no one, we have Mr. Torres online.
Good morning to Brother Mood. Good morning, Brother Mood.
Good morning, sir.
Brother Mood, I believe, no?
You believe?
Yes, Brother Mood, that I have maximized all my thoughts, all my inputs pertaining to the 90 machete. I know I call it 90 million. 90 machete, big slice that, whoop, you know? That's what you call 90 less from coffers of nation states, you see? So, where I didn't know, I am awaiting to hear the answer from Parliament, no? Is a yes or no. Momentarily, I have washed my hands. No more comments.
You've washed your hands, you have no more comments.
Of the 90 machete, yes. You see, one thing I could say to Brother Moose, like myself, there is a quite number of people who can put their head on the block, Brother Moose, and say that the two most national recognized political parties are indeed associates. We could now say that.
Are indeed what?
Associates.
Associates.
They are colleagues.
They are colleagues.
Yes, because they will call each other's name, what's at the house, when they call each other's name, etc. You see, but no matter what, will not jail one of the other. You see? We can now officially refer to them as originally branded by the, I believe it started in the editorial of the Amanda, I believe, PUDP. You see? But anyway, like what I said today, you tomorrow me. All right? Brother Mose, I listened to one caller after I called yesterday morning with yourself at WB Morning Vibes about voting a resounding no to the ICJ, and after that, River of Fire called to endorse the caller's request. Well, you know, since this ruling of the 90 Machete, I myself, who from day one, Brother Mose, you know that, favored a yes vote, now shifting fresh thinking. It is shift fresh thinking because from the offset, I did not favor, as it reads in the OAS drafting. I could read one little bit, Brother Mose, at the drafting. It reads like this, that the parties request the court to determine, in accordance with applicable rules of international law as specified in Article 38(1) of the Statute of the Court, any and all legal claims of Guatemala against Belize to land and insular territories and to any maritime areas pertaining to these territories, to declare the rights therein of both parties and to determine the boundaries between their respective territories and areas. If I will vote at any time yes to the ICJ, is for the court to determine if the 1859 treaty was legal, if we had possession, if the 1859 treaty was about boundary, no sea, no singular nothing, boundary which includes sea. When you go to court, I guess, the little knowledge I have, you must be precise, exact. Then they claim half our land, or whichever suits. Then they claim. They have to prove that they possessed this country or part of the country before the 1859 treaty. And even so, if it was so, they sign on that we are the new owners. So I rest my case there, Brother Mose. If I know about the treaty 1859, sorry, all right? Return your reference here because I not think I would have voted in favor of that. 1859 treaty, give we this land, give we this title, and that, then they said no, that we may own it before. That is what we forgot a quote for, to fight in that area. No singular land and sea and this and insular territory, etc., etc. You see, we want go to court based on the 1859 treaty that they signed on to with Great Britain. You understand me, Brother Mose? That is what I wanted to say this morning, Brother Mose.
So I don't know. You're saying you're giving a condition for your yes vote.
Yes. I am more between 1 and 10. I don't know that. I don't know with like 6.5. No.
6.5. No.
No. Like 3.5.
Is it affected by what we've experienced at the CCJ?
Yes, Brother Mose, because even one of our late great attorneys at law, the Attorney General, like to say, the man will decide for way and things like that. Then of late, and they never fear with way and things like that. That like when they try the case after the fact. So I want to deal with matters before the fact. We're going to the court about discussing or arguing legally, based on evidence by Guatemala, by us, all right, if indeed this land was for us or it was there with the talk about the 1859 treaty. So yes, unless we go to court again, no? This is my views, my faith. We're going to court, go argue and prove ownership. I may own this land. Let me tell you why I may own this land. Because, bam, and you start. This area from Mexico down, etc., even in the Grand Canada, USA, Europeans never owned this place. In this part of the world, it was the Mayans that were here before us. Then it is understood, with the little I read and comprehension, the good Lord allowed me to, Mayas were here. So if anybody for claim this land other than we, our Creoles, our Garifuna, or we who come from the Three Kings, all right, who come to us and say, hey, I am, and the Guatemalans, Israelis, Germans, French, whoever live there, Italians, hey, before no choir, we may own this land, so we declare it. You understand? Not the current administration or the one who started move away the Mayans and started to take over control the territories and things like that. You see, like what Europe did in the U.S., dumped out the Indians, right? And then took over the territory and now rule over the Indians. You understand? This is what is occurring in this part of the hemisphere, that Europeans come to this part of the hemisphere and rule over us. You see, we notice at the at the CCJ what occurred. You see, heavy influence there by the Europeans. So they don't have, to me, they don't have nothing forget from this part of the world. Guatemala has no claim. There is proof that the British came here as settlers, and when it is proven, I cannot go word by word, that when they began claiming, all right, or when Spain began giving, letting off, cutting off, giving away, or assigning pieces of land to Central America individually, the British were already here cutting logwood. There was no border. The border came into light in 1859 because both parties, both countries, both administrations understood that with the cut log from your place and with the cut log from my place, make we stop it. This stuff for you, this stuff for me. Boom, done, sign. That's it, title. That's it, Beramoon.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't know, 6.5 for no?
Yes. Well, that is, as again, that is how I comprehend. You know, I do a little reading. I'm not versed in the English vocab, but that's why I have a dictionary, no? And I listen to others because there are lots of information that has not received my eyes, no?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I learn every day from other people. But with the little I have learned based on reading, Brother Moses, the British were the one who, we inherited this from the British, and the British inherited it from Spain. Point blank. Not from Guatemala. Guatemala itself inherited it from Spain. We inherited all of us. Before the Spaniards, the Mayans were the ones that were here before. So if anybody for claim for Central America, for Guatemala, El Salvador, and so on, is the Mayans. You see? So that is the way I understand it, Brother Moose.
Okay, well, I still don't really hear, I think a lot of Belizeans, similarly, the attention has, you know, the whole CCJ situation has had a very adverse impact on people's sentiments towards the ICJ.
Yes.
But, you know, in due time, the way things go here, we don't forget about the 90 mil.
Oh, yes. Don't forget.
We don't forget about the CCJ, and, you know, trust me, when referendum time come, money want to spend.
Yes. Before
so,
that, you know,
some money want to spend, so that's a serious thing. I am still very concerned over the fact that our leaders have basically said, they have expressed publicly their dissatisfaction and their disappointment with the CCJ. And they have gone as far as to characterize the CCJ in a very negative light. That has been done publicly. But the CCJ remains, and
Yes.
confirmed by the Prime Minister when asked, though the Prime Minister was a bit more diplomatic than his cabinet colleagues in the way that he expressed his dissatisfaction, but he opened up by saying, you know, it was the unkindest cut because Belize took this leap of faith, while many Caribbean nations have been reluctant
To join, yeah.
to sign on to the
Yes.
CCG. Now, a lot of mix-up things here, because I, for one, believe that we cannot have, speaking about us as a region,
Right?
I think it's downright preposterous and just unacceptable for you to basically have as your final court of appeal
Yes.
a court that is across the Atlantic Ocean, controlled and owned and made up of people who were your former colonial masters.
All right.
It's like, for me, it's like, guess what?
Where's Iraq?
Listen, any 5-person right off of the street, rather than that,
I'm with you.
but several Caribbean nation states have, by their actions, basically say, we don't trust ourselves.
Thank you.
We don't think we
Thank you.
we don't think we're capable of doing it. Now, this is not to say that there are reasons why, legitimate reasons why we don't trust ourselves. But we have a responsibility to better ourselves then so that we can reach there. But the cop-out is not to... So when will you make yourselves ready then? If you deem yourself unable to select individuals from among yourselves who are competent and who will be just, then then I don't know why you just don't you need to basically ask for a re-entry to colonial status. You really should do that.
You know when, Brother
If you are not about, you know, listen, we understand there are reasons for this. Nobody is saying that we are not very flawed, but you have to cut the navel string from your colonial master.
You know when, Brother Mood?
So, but hold on.
Yes, sorry. My bad.
So that is one aspect of this whole CCJ thing. The fact that as a region we don't even have solidarity.
Good, good.
But the Prime Minister at his press conference basically expressed his, you know, the CCJ hurty feelings. That's, you know, to put it in not so many words. He basically said, listen, we that one of the
Remember?
one of the, what they call it, there's a term in that they use, like in business, like when you bring out a new product, the early converts, right? But that's not the term they use. It's,
Raw material?
no, you're the early converts. You know, it's like there's this theory that you have a percentage of the population, the small percentage, about 5 to 7%, who are the first adventurers in anything.
Okay.
So, like for example, before anybody in Belize started to use the iPhone, you would have had a small percentage where they were out ahead of the crowd every time.
Yes.
So the term
Underestimate?
the term eludes me right now. I can't remember the term, but it's a part of this thing where you have the early converts, and then you have a percentage of people where then them will follow the They want to follow the early converts, and then the bulk of people would then just basically fall into line. So when people bring out a new product, they bring out the new product and they market it to the people who are what they would call by their personalities, the early converts to a new technology or a new product or something like that. So businesses basically would market to them because they really determine the bulk of the population, the bulk of any population that really follow us then.
Yes, yes.
I don't want to get all the way now. I don't want to go down. I can't remember the name. Whichever case, Mr. Torres, Belize is one of the early converts to the whole CCG.
Yes.
The rest of the Caribbean, early adapters.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you very much, JC. We are the early adapters. So there's a story about early adapters. They are really the gems in business when you're designing, bringing a new product or a new place, and you can see it. When a new restaurant opens, you have the kind of person where they go in there without anybody telling what their experience was. The rest of us, we have to wait for here, and then everybody said that the spot, then we follow. So Belize happens to be the early adapter, and because of that, the Prime Minister, my goodness, you don't look out for we, and we basically look out for and that type of thing. So the Prime Minister was not blunt, but I think he was very clear. He's disappointed and dissatisfied with how the CCJ ruled, but confirmed that the CCJ will remain our final appeal court.
Yes, yes.
Now, the court has been described as being, by one member of cabinet, inefficient, saying that, they take long under one person out of the five, and also, while not saying it plainly, if you read between the lines, the only purpose of saying that a particular attorney is always with the judges, that is of no value unless you're subtly insinuating that familiarity and so on gives you an advantage with these guys. He didn't say that, but the only reason for mentioning the camaraderie between a particular attorney and these judges, there's no other reason but to hint at that. And that was dangerous to even hint at, but that was put out there. Another member of cabinet said, they're not a bunch of conservative people, and they don't really have the concern of the people at heart, that they're a really bald head. That's how I interpret what was. They're a bunch of bald head.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Torres, the point remains that we have foreign investors coming to this country. We have agreements with foreign investors. We have, for example, agreements with Norwegian Cruise Line, with Harvest Key. We have ASR here. We have other big foreign investors in our country.
Yes.
And not to wish bad, but you never know when there might be a misunderstanding. People not to say eye to eye.
Yes.
You go to the courts.
Yes.
And if it is we are saying that we have lost trust in the CCJ, then what are we going to do about it? If we have seen its flaws and we have seen its shortcomings, what are we agitating or advocating to be done?
Remove your participation.
So that's something that I don't believe has been dealt with. So you wanted to jump in and say something, Mr. Torres?
What happened? The same person about talking about he more like, in other words, he closer to whoever. One time said in court, in the house, what you think of others, that's what you are. So he from the moment he could think like that, that means he was there. But concerning to what I wanted to say just a while ago, you see, Brother Moses, what happens to us by going to these courts away from nation's territory
Yeah.
with jurisdiction, we like underestimate each other.
Yeah.
We no respect each other. We no believe in homegrown. We no believe that we will come from the three kings that they want for the grow this country. Nobody else. We allow others to come and grow it. We allow others to decide over us, and etc. We look up to out here as far better than us. You could see the amount of people appearing on television. Foreigners, you could hear their accent. Very few Belizeans taking command at posted and spots. Very few. It is not like before. One time we used to send our people to train and come back home and share the knowledge that they benefited. Now they come and dictate our pace. That has been our downfall, because we they look up rather than they look down. We know they look down on our people. That's why your brother Moses, with due respect to society in Belize City, we dey talk with this outside and outside. I dislike. I know say I say over the bridge, or I use address. I wish we could eliminate that term, south side, north side. Because let me tell you the little I can recall. The people that live in the north side, the 80% at the beginning originated from the south side. When you ask somebody, boy, where are you going? Boy, I'm going by my granny. Where part? Regent Street. Where part? King Street. You see? Why? Because perhaps when they come over here, they saw greener pastures and they not look back. That is our problem, Brother Moses. We not look at each other. We not esteem each other. We look down on each other. That is the way I have been viewing it for quite some time, Brother Moses. Yes, that's yes, Brother Moses.
That's what you wanted to say.
Yes, Brother Moses.
All right. Well, I think for many of us, we're not warmongers, but we don't wish to be like lamb led to the slaughter, no?
Yes.
So, it's like we understand, and as I said yesterday, that if you look around and you read international news, you realize that it's a merciless world.
Yeah.
It's a merciless world, and you have to be extremely careful, because people are not really, people will not run to your aid. And by the time they do start to talk about what is taking place with you, especially if you're a population of 375 or 400,000 people, by the time it becomes news, because it takes a lot of people to be wiped out before it becomes international news. If you watch some of the global refugee crisis that exists today, migration crisis, people, hundreds and hundreds of people basically falling into the Mediterranean and dying, trying to move from their region to Europe, now becoming enslaved in Libya. You look at the plight of the Palestinians. Just yesterday it is announced that situation is going to be, that fire is going to be made hotter by the actions of the President of the United States of America to decide that he's going to put the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem, which by most experts is going to inflame an already inflamed area because of all the conflicting religious ideologies and history of the people of the Middle East. And so this guy just decides that he's going to do this completely conscious of how it's going to be received by the Arab people of the Middle East, and he's indifferent to that. He's indifferent to their sensitivities. He's indifferent to whatever feelings they have about the situation, and you know already that will mean at some point in time, people will die, more people will die, but it doesn't really matter. He's just doing what he's doing, and that's their system, that's their country, and they're big and powerful, and who cares who dies? That's a policy that they will take on. That's just the world we live in. These geopolitical agendas of the big countries are what really matter. They're not here worried about, how contented Belizeans are and whether or not a court rules in a just and righteous way. That's not what they're really thinking about or concerned about. That's just not the way it works. We've kind of been brainwashed into thinking that people will come here to save us if there's somebody that comes to do us wrong. If our neighbor should invade us, people are going to run here to shed their blood for us and save us because, I don't know, we are special. We are special, but not to anybody else. That's just not the way it works. But somehow, the way that we have been cultured, we have this view that people will come and help us. People will come to our aid, come to our rescue. We have to be the ones that come to our rescue. We have to be the ones that think very carefully about the things we do, and we have to be careful with what the people we choose to lead us, where they take us, what they do, the choices that they make, because we are the ones that will bear the brunt of the consequences. That's just the way the system is designed. That's just the way society is structured, that the masses of the people carry the weight. So it's a very serious time to have a situation where you essentially have a judiciary that we have to put an asterisk upon because our leaders essentially have said that. They have expressed, you could put it, you can color it as regret, remorse for going that way, because they look on it and says, we thought that they may have feel with pain. We think that, they're being from the same fabric, historically as we are. They should have more, you'd have said, could feel we. And so now we look at what they've done, and our leaders are saying, that's not the case. But they remain the final court. They will rule on small matters, big matters, things of great significance. But at the end of the day, how can we now say that we have a just system if the highest court in the land has been basically labeled by the people who lead as being not up to the mark? That's a very serious state of affairs for any nation state. But we have Sister Yaya online. Good morning.
Morning, Mose. Morning, Belize. We Wednesday call.
Yeah.
When they had the national consultation a few weeks ago, the Attorney General's ministry prepared a fact sheet, and which is very useful after the amendment was made to the Misuse of Drugs Act. Really no explanation, never happened in a holistic way. So I'll do like one short fact every Wednesday as long as I could, no? So this one, it's an overview, and they broke it down in 7 sections. So this one will be from the possession of marijuana section. And the first one is, if you have up to 10 grams of marijuana per you as an adult, which consider about 3/8 of an ounce or a handful, or if you have less than that, that are no longer one crime. So in other words, a no criminal offense will have up to 10 grams of marijuana per you on you as an individual. You know, one adult, I mean at the adult part, because one young person could have up to 10 grams per day as well. But if you're caught on school grounds or other educational institution, meaning from preschool to university, there is a penalty for that. So that's the Wednesday truth for today. You could have up to 10 grams of marijuana on you. It's no longer a crime. It's not considered a criminal offense unless the possession occurs from a school or educational compound, meaning preschool to university. Thanks for the time.
Respect.
Bye-bye.
It's 24 minutes after 7 o'clock. This is the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. And just expressing, my thoughts on the matter of the CCJ being, getting an asterisk. It's like they are the last court, but they're not real. They're not really. There's a flaw there, essentially, and but they still remain the final court of appeal. It will be interesting to see if this matter goes back to the CCJ, how the CCJ will interpret the things that have been said about it, and how comfortable it will be with the shade that has been thrown its way. It'll be very interesting to see how it has been received by them. The other thing that I have on my list to talk about this morning, since we don't have a call, our telephone numbers are 222-4299 as well as 202-4409 and 202-4469. The other thing that I have on my list to talk about is we hear and we talked a little bit about it yesterday when Irvin Perez was here. We talk a bit about the fact that we have these major institutions, both the private sector as represented by the Chamber of Commerce, and we hear the unions as well weigh in and basically saying, listen, government, you have to pay, you have to comply with the CCJ. I think I did hear the president of the BCCI express in an interview that we need to do something about our laws. We have River of Fire? Okay. Good morning, River.
Good morning, Mose.
Yes.
I was listening to your conversation with Mr. Torres, and I have to say, Mr. Torres, I don't know why you would be at a 6 with that no to the ICJ, but I think you need to get that one because we have to remember one important thing Odinga Lumumba said. And Odinga Lumumba was the man who led the Heads of Agreement disturbance in 1981 in Belize. And I think a lot of people forget who he was. But before Odinga showed up, there was another action hero known as Evan X. But before him, there was one from way back in the 30s, I think it was. And that was the situation with Odinga. Odinga made it clear that in 1936, or thereabouts, Guatemala put in an amendment to their constitution that said that Belize, because England was preoccupied with the war in Europe, they figured it was time to challenge England and take Belize. And so they put an amendment in their constitution that said that Belize was a part of Guatemala. And now we have to understand that Guatemala, when Guatemala, the country of Guatemala formed, this is way back, Belize was not in their constitution. And so Belizeans need to understand that where the government, they say, where the PUP, they say, where the UDP, they say, no really matter, because Odinga Lumumba said, we take a petition to the United Nations and demand that they have Guatemala remove Belize from their constitution. I write this in a poem called Belize Youth of We. And the words are not my words. The words that Odinga Lumumba words at St. Mary's Parish Hall. Belize, my beautiful Belize, you da for we. Even though my brother no really seem to see. Love you I do, from Guatemala to the sea. In you I believe, 'cause you da for we. Zionists have Israel, and the British say you're free. Even though you swear to the crown, not the tree. You know why, land, you not seem to yarn when you are get a turn. Uno would rather burn than think of spurn, liars to the unborn. This stuff for we country, for we century. Time for remove entry. Arise, farm and factory. Put up your sentry. Frightened about your future, the hope of the youth, yeah? Your wawa suture. Only the cry about culture, for we truth that rape by vulture. With time done come, we not have to use wagon. We could stand as one. Enter wa petition. Attention, United Nations. Belize amended back out a Guatemala Constitution. By river of fire, the words of Odinga Lumumba. No bend, no curb. That was his motto. No bend, no curb. Okay? And so I say this to people. Why you were go to court for something whether for you? If you go in the court, you to question the fact whether that's for you or not. If you believe that for you, you don't need to go to court. And nobody go to court without summons, and they never send you no summons. So good morning, Belize. No to the ICJ.
All right, with
River
us.
fire out. Thanks, Mose.
7:30. Time check brought to you by Grace Kennedy Belize Limited.
From the company who brought you Buen Dia freeze-dried coffee, Grace 100% pure Colombian coffee is made in Colombia, considered among the finest coffee regions around the world. Naturally freeze-dried, Grace 100% pure Colombian coffee is exposed to less heat than other coffee brands to preserve the flavor and aroma to make the perfectly convenient cup of coffee you deserve. Have a buenos dias with Grace.
Quality nutrition from generation to generation.
Bringing good taste to life.
All right, welcome back. WB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibe. Cell phone numbers are 222-4299 as well as 202-4409 and 202-4469. Those are the direct lines for you to participate in the conversation. This person says via email on the UHS matter. I've always said and will continue to say, only in algebra 2 wrongs make a right. What Syed Musa administration had done during their tenure in office with the Venezuelan money was wrong. In fact, maybe I can't say the administration, but Syed Musa and a few, the Hugo Chavez and the Venezuelan government gave that money for the poor. The total was 45 million, but the Barrow administration came in and decided it went wrong, got back 20 million and litigated for the balance. But due to attorneys, of which the PM is one, GOB won in the local courts, and the bank decided to appeal and won at the CCJ. Now a payment of 88.9 million, the court ruled we have to pay. I guess the big question is if the Barrow administration had paid from the beginning, then this wouldn't happen. But on the other hand, when you win in 2 courts, the Supreme and the Court of Appeal, they see it your way, you figure out that the other will, but that was the nail in the coffin. This is my personal take with the loan side. Musa did was that if he had put the hospital in the name of the government and the people of Belize, then it would not have been a bad idea. We all know primary care is very expensive, and the health care facility would have helped a lot of Belizeans, especially the poor ones who cannot afford to go abroad for primary health care. The SSB should have managed it and saved some money instead of sending people abroad. Krem, good morning, WB. Krem, good morning. All right, we lost that call. We invite you to call us back. I just wanted to read somebody's email. The telephone number is 222-4299 as well as 202-4409 and 202-4469. I think I was talking before River called in about the fact that we were talking yesterday, Irvin Paris and myself, and we were saying, well, you know, we have these voices and these organizations coming out to say we need to pay, but that we feel very strongly. I will stick a pin. Caller is back. Krem, good morning. Krem, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Brother Moss.
Good morning.
Happy World Disability Week to all Belizeans and the whole world. I would like to remind persons with diverse abilities, friends and family that at 8:30 this morning we will parade from Battlefield Park to Memorial Park, and we will have a rally, snacks, and sharing among persons with diverse abilities, friends, and family. Please come to the activity. Let's have no one left behind. We all need to pull and hold on to each other in order to be listened to and to be taken as a very active member of this society. We all have human rights. Belize that we and Belize needs to remember that access and love belongs to all Belizeans, including persons with diverse abilities. Please come and be a part of the march and the rally this morning. Battlefield Park, 8:30 to Memorial Park. See you later.
It's a big Bram today.
Yes, brother. We want Bram and eat and party. Thank you.
All right, respect. Telephone number is 222-4299 as well as 202-4409 and 202-4469. Those are the direct numbers for you to link with us and express your views and your thoughts. And if we don't have a call, JC, I would advance my thoughts on the matter of the organizations that have come forward and have expressed their belief that the government should pay. I don't know what will happen when the House meets, how that will go. The sense we get based on what some ministers have come publicly to say that they won't, it would seem that that is not a likely scenario, that the House will vote to pay. But just looking on what these organizations are saying, I think the NTUCB is suggesting to do it like in installments. Krem, good morning, WUB.
Moors, good morning, Moors.
Good morning.
This is your friend from Publix up there, like call him Moors. You know that who?
From where?
From up the Publix, man.
Oh, okay. Where did it happen?
I had to listen to you. Moors, you know, I just want to touch on that and leave it, but I want the public know where to go and I believe it in food vendor, but make a touch on this real quick. I can't really understand more than if I'm wrong, please correct me.
I will.
If you owe somebody, okay, they're like this more. You ganga acquire one bill, right? And then thing happened that you had to come out. So the bill left there. As the bill left there, it left in a government, right? Correct?
Yeah.
So now that I come in, that I'm have to clear up this thing where you left there. Simple as that was. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you know that straightforward.
No?
No, not that straightforward. There are elements of it which you're right. That what was done not, even though we use individual names, the fact is that we're talking about the government of Belize. So the government of Belize, you might change people who are there representing us and who are in their offices, but the government of Belize remains the government of Belize. If I borrow something as the government of Belize, even if I am not the minister next year, it was borrowed as the government of Belize, then it's the government of Belize that has the responsibility to pay.
Right.
So that is right. You are absolutely right with that. The question here though is the matter if the loan was not to the government of Belize. It was simply at a point in time it was secured by the government of Belize, and the government of Belize came in to put itself on the hook. And so there's been a question as to whether or not that they did so legally. So that has been a part of the legal question. And the question also that we'd have to put to you is, like, let's say you come to me and, when you go to a pawn shop, and you go to a pawn shop and you left your, let's say you left your chain or you left your bracelet, whatever, and the pawn shop holds that bracelet and it gives you a money. I got a bracelet until you pay me back.
Right.
And so let's say you borrow $500 from the pawn shop. Now, the pawn shop, you become delinquent. You not pay. And then there's an agreement where the way how it works is that if you, interest is accrued, whatever, on what you owe. But then the pawn shop has your bracelet or your chain or whatever. So then what happens in that situation is that you forfeit the chain.
Right.
And then the chain is what is going to be used to pay. That's why the pawn shop held the chain.
Right, as a collateral.
But in this case, it would be the equivalent of the pawn shop keeping the bracelet, selling the bracelet for more than what you owe, and then still come to you
to pay the rest of your owe.
No, to pay the whole amount. So you understand? So they sell you owe 500. Let's say the interest take it up to, like, based on how this gone up 17%. Suppose the interest take it up to 2,000. The pawn shop gone and sell the bracelet or whatever, sell it for 1,500. But still come to you and say you have to bring your 2,000, and you lose your bracelet and whatever you put there. So that is a situation where make it such an obscene situation for people, to that we would have to pay so much money for nothing. So indeed, when people say, listen, we have to pay, because even though we can be disappointed and we could burn out what the CCJ say and said, but the court is the court is the court.
Right.
We are not lawyers. It could be that the court never impressed with Fourie attorney. Could very well be that Fourie attorney may had a half day or just never put in enough work or present one weak argument and jeopardize Fourie situation. You understand?
I understand that.
That happens. You could have that I actually in at the right and you in at the wrong, but you got a better attorney than me.
Right.
And you get humbled. That's the thing with courts.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying that it's not just a matter of, well, okay, the government borrowed something from somebody, so it don't really matter which party comes in, it is still the government and they must pay.
Right.
I think it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Right.
But fundamentally, people are saying we do have an obligation to respect the rule of law.
Right.
Like, we can look at it and say, this is like Shark Isle. This is like Shark Isle.
Not a very pleasant taste.
Not a pleasant taste. Nobody will tell you no. Nobody will tell you this is a chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
But you got to do what you got to do. That's what some organizations are coming and telling the government. Yes, we hear all of that, But in the meantime, while we admit that we get humbug, to use broadcast friendly terms. But if you meet me that is supermarket, I want to use the more appropriate terminologies, you understand?
Yeah.
But at that point, yeah. So we get humbug. Or we get chance. Big chance. Big chance.
Well, now that you explain this to me now at the game field thing, so now in my head, the commercial Miss Myrna, the way he say, I will not even see a pill, so Miss Myrna went to this commercial.
I don't see the commercial, but we're not getting pills. We're not getting pills.
The commercial very funny. Anyway, Moors, I did call for one, all believe, and especially I wanted to eat up this tacos the morning, because sometimes me myself do it. Most for a while, I had a bad diarrhea for a whole week. After that, most that check. From there, I got one when nearly carry me in. The doctor, they say, you know what, you need to run some tests on you. So they do a whole bunch of tests, most because $400, but thank God for NICH, only pay $40.60. All right, Moors. When I got to my doctor, the doctor said, oh, infection in the intestine. I said, okay, that's so now. Then we don't get me pass on antibiotic. Then they put me pass on more. So I got back to the doctor this week here. When I got back this week, the doctor said, oh my. He said the rest of the results are in. He said, not good, not good. I said, more antibiotic? He said, yes. He said, you have a community infection.
Community infection?
You know, yeah. I said, doctor, explain this to me, man. I said, so I have the whole of my community in me? The doctor laughed. Doctor said, I can explain to you. He said, community infection. He said, you see the food vendors from the street side and place where they sell food. He said, they go to the bathroom more. When they don't, they don't wash their hand good, they got feces on their hand. Most I couldn't even eat the night. He said, and then go back, go play with the food. He said, and then they sell you the food.
No, I have a problem with what the doctor is saying.
Ay.
I got to tell you why I have a problem with the doctor. He is true, I imagine, that if you have vendors on the street side who are not sanitary, that they can sicken you. It could be vendors on the street side. It could be restaurants. I have gotten bad food poisoning from very fancy restaurants. So for him to put the blame on the street vendors, I'm saying he doesn't know that conclusively. You would have to do a test on, public health should randomly do tests on these various vendors to see if they have any contaminated food. Unless it is you know exactly where you eat, and that way started, I think the doctor, they be unfair to vendors. And sometimes it could be, you know what one of the most dangerous things for you is? Chicken. Well, and when people cook chicken, you know, you have some people who are very careful. In fact, they're using gloves, they use separate knives, and when they don't deal with their chicken, they sanitize that area before they do anything else.
Right.
But you have some people where are too lazy to do all of that. And they're very careless, and maybe they get away with it 1,000 times. But you will get some contamination from chicken where hamburger really bad.
Okay.
Exactly. So I'm saying here, yes, it's when he says that it's probably something to do with food, more than likely. But I think the fact that he said the food vendors, and I'm not here saying that got some food vendors we're not up to par, but I'm saying that overall, like I'm telling you, I've gotten food poisoning and I know for a fact that from a fancy restaurant. You understand?
Because that's the only place where you eat much. You know where you eat.
I know where I eat.
So when the doctor tell me this, I say, man, sir, I advise people be careful. Be careful because I was so scared. Me more when I do my thing, hand wash every minute, everything get rinsed. My chicken gets soaked in a lime and vinegar. Yes, I don't want any people when I done it, the nice that soaking at the bleach, that not going to cut no vegetables, I afraid. You understand me? And when the doctor explained this to me, I was like, oh man. And I remember one time I didn't want to hear just in place where they say this legal die for contamination of feces when they go to the bathroom, you never wash your hand good and he eat and he mess up himself. I was like, oh no. I said, oh God. I said, I can't handle it. But
community infection.
Yes, most community. I got a whole community in my body.
You got it.
So I have more antibiotic again. So people just beware and be careful.
Yeah. Too much antibiotics not good for you either. That's another problem.
Most, please don't tell me. I used to be a nurse in America. Trust me, most I know, but I want to kill this community out of my body. Only want me, you want me. I don't want the whole community. Anyway,
well, you know, you look on it and say you've gotten a good purge. So
we could say that too.
You could say that. All right. Feel better, sister.
Yes, most. Thanks. Have a blessed day. Bye.
You do the same. It's 7:49 in the studios. WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We're going to go to 2 Cents Camp with Sister Yaya Marine Coleman. Then we take our first break of the morning. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation. I'm thinking we should be having guests.
Sense question there, brother. How Belizeans end up having to pay this $90 million?
And the boat government put it away. Both of them put it away.
Thanks for 2 cents. Sense question there, my sister. How Belizeans end up with this $90 million debt?
You want all the details? Because that I don't know. I really don't have all the details. I think through some negligence of somebody. Is that the best I could say?
Make I say, if I could explain my understanding, right? Private entity group of people want money for one hospital. DFC approved one overdraft for the money. End of the day, DFC couldn't control the money, and the government of Belize take on the debt. And through Belize Bank. Belize Bank said the government for pay that money back, and that money with interest enough for be $90 million. The other argument is that Belize Bank sell off the assets, so in essence they don't get their money back from the loan, and now they want one second payment, they want interpretation. But that my understanding, I stand to be corrected.
I mean, I don't know, but I just know that if you go to the bank and you borrow money, you have to pay it back. I think the real question that you should have asked is, should we pay or not to pay? That is really what people want to know. Should they pay or not to pay? Because that is what is going to be voted on in a few days. That should be the 2 cents question. I mean, as I say, should we pay or should we not pay? Because the how it gets irrelevant at this time. What really is important is we now have a bill to pay.
That's one good suggestion for your 2 cents come question, and I want to ask it. But before anybody pay the money, you want to know how I get for all this money. So we need to know how we get for have to pay this money, and then we could get to the question, should we pay? So thank you for that 2 cents question. 2 cents question then, brother. How we end up with this $90 million debt?
You know how we end up with this debt here? I think the government should have stopped play and deal with the issue. If we need to take it somewhere else, but then we wait till this debt go big, then we want to try play games with it.
Well, how we end up with it, how we get it, you know?
Sure, we get it. We know how we get it. Everybody know how we get it.
Everybody know how we get it. Not call it that at all. I barely know how we get it since everybody know. You tell me how we get it.
We get it through government. Government at the time that was there decided to make some deals with it. Now, let me finish off, then I'll hide them. Now, the government decided to play games with it, right? They should have taken this issue and taken it seriously as a government. As a government, because we the people they play, we get match down there. Big people play up there and the grass get match down there. So we deal with this this issue from the beginning, understand me? And then we may have this problem with this $90 million. The government has to stop playing as if they are the opposition. This is not the opposition, this is the government. This is the people's money we are playing with, and we are playing like they are the opposition. They are for 15 years now there. They need to own whatever they have here done.
No, explain to me now, how we end up with this $90 million debt?
This $90 million debt was the government at the time, and they need to be dealt as the government now. Thank you very much.
Thanks for 2 cents. 2 cents question, dear brother. How Belizeans end up with this $90 million debt?
Well, I just thought, like I said, I heard about it. I have to investigate about it and see what you lead from there, right?
My understanding is that the DFC at the time, under the government of Belize, which was majority PUP administration, guarantee one loan, one overdraft for one private entity, Universal Healthcare Services, I believe. They never come up with the money, so then gone the Belize Bank, and the government at the time secured the loan from private entity. And the bank then carried the government of Belize, the court, actually 4 different courts, and all of the court then say, government of Belize, pay the bank. And that's how come Belizeans end up in a disposition with this $90 million debt.
Well, I guess you have to pay it. I guess you have to pay it through the court, no?
Thanks for 2 cents.
Because if you don't pay it, the money might get bigger.
Thanks for 2 cents. 2 cents question, dear my sister. How Belizeans end up with this $90 million debt?
I have no idea how they end up with that debt. But all I could say is that we have to pay it, our grandkids have to pay it, our great-great-grandkids have to pay it, because every year you build up if they're not paid, so that we the feel.
Make I give it a shot to see if I understand it. And I stand to be corrected, this is my understanding. Under one PUP administration, still the government of Belize, DFC guarantee one loan for one private entity. Belize Universal Services, I believe the hospital the name at the time. DFC never have the money, and so they gone the Belize Bank and secured the loan. The bank carried the government of Belize, the court, 4 different courts, and the court then say government of Belize have to pay the money. And now there's lots of details in between, also on general overview to my understanding. And so, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
That's my 2 cents too, like where I say, we grand picnic and we great-great-grand picnic will have to pay this.
Thanks for 2 cents. 2 cents question then, brother. How Belizeans end up with this $90 million debt?
Well, I'm quite not sure due to the governance of our country. I would say that.
All right, Mega. I had to try give it to one shot, right? To my understanding. And then if you know a little bit more, you could add on to this story. Under the former administration, government of Belize, PUP administration and the government of Belize, DFC guarantee one loan overdraft for one private entity, one hospital at the time, Universal Healthcare Services. My understanding is that DFC never have the money for pay it, and so the government of Belize guaranteed the loan to the Belize Bank. The reason why the government guaranteed the loan, because the intention was that the hospital may get used for the NICH scheme, so that Belizeans may have access to the hospital and the services. The government, according to the Belize Bank, default upon the loan and gone to 4 different courts, and all of the courts said the government of Belize to pay the money. Now you have some details where another share card try shorten the story, and people have some questions about should we pay the loan, but 4 courts say we will pay it. So that's my short version of how we end up with this $90 million debt. Maybe I could, since you're one of Belizean artists, maybe one of these days use this in some of your lyrics, because there are different ways for inform and educate Belizeans.
Yes, definitely we have to elaborate on this, definitely.
Thanks for 2 cents. 2 cents question, dear my sister. How Belizeans end up with this $90 million debt?
I'm not sure exactly how we end up with it, but I think that it is unfair that we have to pay back for it. If I didn't borrow something, I shouldn't have to pay back for it.
Wait a minute. But how we are saying we not for pay back for it and we don't even know why we borrow it, which is why we ask the question in the first place. And anytime we go vote and we elect area reps, then them become for we voice. So when the government of Belize make decisions what best for Belize, that's the way they want to go vote for people, you have to give them permission to talk to you, so that's the whole con them make the decision for borrow this $90 million And then when the government of Belize not pay the money back based on the commitment, what I'm making a writing for pay the $90 million back, then how come we end up responsible for paying the $90 million? And the government of Belize could be under one PUP administration or a UDP administration. So one time the government of Belize guarantee one loan for a private hospital, which was under the PUP administration, that is still representing the people of Belize. So under this current government of Belize, which is a UDP administration, they still attack for the people of Belize, so that how come we end up with this $90 million debt. Well, we've paid for based on when 4 courts say when Belize Bank carry the government of Belize the court for malpalgo hard pay, not for pay back the money, what in a writing agree for payback. That the long and short or the essence of how Belizeans end up with this $90 million debt.
Okay, so you answer the question where I never know. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir, 2 cents, sister. 2 cents question, there, my sister. How Belizeans end up with this $90 million debt?
I really don't know, I know.
Right, welcome back to the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Wednesday morning edition of the show, and we now have guests in the house, and Ms. Valerie Sheran is here, and she's asking for support. She's gravely ill, and so she's here to tell us about this. Good morning to you, Valerie.
Good morning.
And we definitely hope that we can be of assistance. You basically tell our listeners and viewers what your medical situation is.
Well, I have leukemia for the past 4 years now, and right now it's worsening, and the doctors at Karoshna cannot do nothing. So Dr. Quera gave me a paper to go to Merida, and I don't have the finance to do that. So I'm asking out there, anyone who can assist, please assist me.
No, you say before we get specific and figure out how we can get people to give you some support, Valerie, how has leukemia impacted your life? You say you've had leukemia now for 4 years.
Yes.
And I imagine, based on understanding, leukemia is really bad news. It has, I imagine, had a big impact on your ability to work, your ability to...
Yes, I was working at Princess, and the pains I have, I cannot walk. Sometimes I have to creep on my knees because I cannot walk, take off the pains. I dropped down several times at Princess, and the doctor put me medical unfit because he said I cannot do any work anymore.
Your doctor, and just to make sure you know that we have the documents here from the doctor confirming that she does have leukemia, and so you've been getting for 4 years, which is a long time to have leukemia.
Yes.
You want to go to Merida?
Yes.
Now you say that there's a situation with your spleen. Can you explain to us what's happening with the spleen?
The spleen is swollen, and right now, if you can see my belly from there, it's like an 8-pound baby, and it already pushed the other liver over the other side. So 2 of my liver is on this side.
That would be your kidneys, I think. Okay, so your kidney or your liver is on the other side.
Yes.
Let's push the liver out of
Yes,
okay.
yes.
All right. So the spleen itself needs to come out.
Yes, but the doctors here at Karoshna, I already gone at Karoshna to take it out, but they don't. They at the operation, they don't want to do it because they say it's a 50-50 chance here, and they don't want, and if I take it out and I have an infection, like let's say a common cough or cold, and it turns into pneumonia, I can dead faster. I don't know what the doctor is talking about here, but I already went in to do the surgery, and the day of the surgery they don't want to do it.
Okay. So this is a surgery that you now have to go and do in Merida?
Merida.
Okay. Have you received chemotherapy for the leukemia or no?
Not yet.
Okay. And so tell us, you have children?
Yes, I have 3 children, and
How old are your children?
The oldest one is 13. The that's a boy, and my daughter is 10 and my baby is 5.
It must be now very difficult for you to be a parent for your children.
Yes, very difficult because some days, months I cannot get up, I cannot walk. It left me in bed, and then sometimes my baby come and cry and say, Mommy, why you can't come and give me my tea? But I just can't, I can't get up. My brothers are the ones that helping me and my mom.
Okay, so they're the ones who are trying to support you.
Yes.
Right now you don't have any source of income?
No, none. They are the ones that, right now, for the past 4 years, they are the ones that giving a meal every day. They give my babies a meal.
That's how they eat. Do you have any idea about what this going to Merida and this surgery and treatment is going to cost?
Well, Dr. Quera said it's going to cost at least $6,000.
Okay, to do everything.
To do everything.
And obviously, at this point in time, you don't have $6,000 to do
I
this.
don't have any money, not even $1. Last week I make a barbecue sale, but it was not successful. Saturday that went.
So you've tried some little effort. You've tried some fundraising.
Yeah, but it was not successful.
All right. And how quickly do you need to go? Has the doctor indicated about how quickly you need to go?
Well, they wanted me to go already, but I just can't get up to come on the show to, you know.
All right. And so you're basically asking anybody that can make a donation, small or big.
Yes, small or big, anything.
All right. So up to this point in time, you've not been able to, and the thing is, you can't go wrong to get support. Is you have other family members trying to get donations for you, or no?
No.
So this is the only.
This is the only thing that I'm trying to do right now.
Okay. You've mentioned to me before we got on here, and I think you've mentioned a little bit about it, all the different complications of leukemia. And leukemia is essentially cancer of the blood cells.
Yes.
And
see, right now, I was really thick and big. If anyone out there know me, right now, look at me.
I can see that I can see the marks to show that you've lost
a lot of
considerable weight. And it's immense pain, as you've mentioned. There's bleeding associated with it.
Yes.
A lot of fatigue, and your immune system obviously is impaired.
Yes, and my blood is very low at 6.
Yeah, that is extremely low. This is a type of situation that or people or brothers or sisters face in the community when they have to get medical care of this nature. And they have to go out of the country to get this care. We have to do our best to see how we can support. And I know that we each have our own struggles, but our struggles become lighter when we are able to try to reach out and help one another. And right now, Mr. Valerie has a huge challenge in front of her, because while she has to contend with the physical challenges of her illness, she also has to now be concerned about how to find the resources to access care in Merida. I guess we have to say, give thanks to having a family that is kind, to have a mother and your brothers to be there for you so that your children can eat, and so that you can at least, get some food and some quality of life. But to try to find $6,000 is very difficult.
Hard.
And so we are asking our listeners and viewers to see what you can donate to Valerie Sheran. And she's provided us with an account information. This account is where?
Atlantic Bank.
Atlantic Bank account number 211034290. Let me repeat that. The account, Atlantic Bank account, is 211034290. That is the account that you can utilize. And if you want to call and make contact with Valerie, you have some people who maybe they would want to verify and confirm. There's no offense in that. If they want to check with the doctor, is the doctor available if somebody wants to find out specifically what the situation is? You can check her doctor. Her doctor is
Dr. Fernando Cuellar.
Okay, so he's over at Medical Associate.
Medical Associate.
Okay, and if you want to link directly with Valerie, the telephone number is 635-5908. Again, I repeat, 635-5908. And we're really encouraging you to give a little assistance to Valerie. It's a huge amount of money for someone to find, especially when they are dealing with the symptoms of a life-threatening medical condition, because leukemia is a life-threatening condition. You might not be able to see, but her abdomen is extremely swollen. That's why she mentioned it's almost like if she's 8 months pregnant. Her stomach is really swollen, and it's because her spleen is swollen. And again, this is all to do with the disease that she has. They are unwilling or unable, or they are not confident of doing the surgery here, and so she needs to go to Merida to do this surgery. And so there is no other option except for, and you know, you never know when the shoes are on your feet. When you are faced with medical expense for a loved one or for yourself, and you will have to reach out to the community as well. So we really are appealing to you to find what you can to try to help out Sister Valerie right now. You know, many hands make it the work light. So, you know, one cocoa full basket, you don't have to feel that you have to give any kind of crazy money. If we all give a little, we'll be able to get the $6,000 so that Valerie can go and get medical care abroad. So we really want to urge you to utilize the information that we have given to you this morning. You know, this is just how we have to try to survive. You know, medical access and the care is not free. And especially when you're dealing with certain conditions which are, you know, really complicated, it becomes even more challenging. So again, on behalf of Valerie Sheran, who's here this morning with us, asking the community for help, I want to repeat that the account number is an Atlantic Bank account number, 211034290. So you can donate a little today. Please do it as soon as possible, because time is of the essence. The quicker she can get to Merida, the better it is for her. The phone number is 635-5908. 635-5908. And Valerie, I don't know if you have any final words that you want to express to our listeners and viewers.
Yes. I would really like you guys to help me, especially for my kids, because right now a lot of things happening at school and I cannot pay for nothing at school for them because I cannot work, I cannot get up to work for them. So can you do it for my kids, please?
Again, Valerie, we just want to tell you that, you know, to be here with us after 4 years means that you're strong.
Yes.
You must be strong.
Praying is the key right now for me. I accepted the Lord as my Lord and Savior. I baptize, I do everything, I go to church. That is what is keeping me strong right now.
You must have some strength, indeed, that keeps you going on. I imagine that you don't want to not be here for your children, and I know that the drive of a mother is an immense strength, and then you're leading on your spirituality to keep you strong. And we want to say, listen, we want you to keep strong. We know that this is a tough one. I don't know what people will be able to give to you, but we hope that you don't give up. Don't give up, and that you can come and link me and tell me, what type of support you've received, so we can maybe, figure out other ways. But, we really have to depend on the community to come up and to give, and let us get Valerie the medical care that she needs. And we hope that you will hang in there, Valerie. Hang in there and be strong.
Yes.
Okay? All right, and we hope that our community reaches out and that you are moved to have kindness and compassion for Valerie and give whatever you can. We know that everybody can't just take any money, and we understand people have their challenges. We all have our struggles. Again, if it's $1 you have and you can give towards this $6,000 that's required for her to travel, I am sure that it's going to be appreciated. There's no judgment on the amount of money you give. So if it's $1, if it's 50 cents, if it's $5, if it's $100, you give what it is you can to let us get Valerie some care. And again, I really do hope that this morning your plea reaches ears of kindness and compassion.
One more thing.
Okay.
I want to try to have a turkey dinner the 15th. Can you all support me, please?
Where is the turkey dinner going to be held?
32 Neil Penn Road.
32 Neil Penn Road.
At my place.
Okay, so you can as well order one turkey dinner for the 15th of December.
15th.
All right, so you can either call the number to donate, or you can call the number to order a turkey dinner, book yourself a turkey dinner, and don't, you pay whatever you have to pay for the turkey dinner. If you want to pay $20 for the turkey, it's really a contribution to the turkey dinner. The number is 635-5908. So direct support, or it is your support via supporting the turkey dinner. Please write down the information. I beg of you, write down the information and please support the system. We have to help each other when we face this type of challenge. We have to be our brothers, and in this case our sisters' keeper. So we're reaching out to you to do that, and all the best to you, Valerie, okay?
Thanks.
All right. We're going to take ourselves a break, 25 minutes after 8 o'clock. Then we're going to come back with more guests right here. Come back to the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, and traffic continues today. We now get NICH in the house, as represented by Mrs. Shary Medina, who is the Associate Director for Business Development, Communications and Marketing. She wears a lot of hats over there. And we also have Research and Education Officer Giovanni Pinelo. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Pleasant good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
So apparently NICH is in the Christmas mood.
We are in the Christmas mood.
Right?
Very much so.
Good. And so, since that NICH is in the Christmas mood, tell us exactly what it really wants to tell our listeners and viewers.
Okay, so good morning once again. NICH, the National Institute of Culture and History, embarks on various projects throughout the year. And we, as an institution, we do various kinds of collaborative efforts in terms of getting different forms of books, novels, publications out there through a specific department that's called ISCR, which is the Institute for Social and Cultural Research, who my colleague, Mr. Pinelo, will be elaborating a little bit more on further in the show. What we're here to do today is to showcase the current publications that are at NICH as Christmas presents. We know that Christmas is a time where you have a problem, probably looking for good gifts to give that loved one or a child. And so we're here offering books that are locally authored at discounted prices for this season.
So you're just being, you know, like very thoughtful, knowing that people right now are trying to find that perfect.
Actually, we have 3 kinds of publications that we're showcasing and selling that you can purchase during the month of December, because the discount and promotion will be only for the month of December. We have, if you look here, we have the Healing Circle, which is a compilation of poetry by, I don't know if you know the famous Miss Manzanares and Miss Azizi Hoy. These are poetry that's put together. This is more towards those people who love poems, who might want to give a gift for someone who's into reading of that sort. And then you have the Belizean story time for the kids. Maybe your child might be into reading and they might like to know more about the Belizean stories. And so this would be the perfect present for a child who loves to read. And of course, Anansi is in there, Brad Tiger. And then it has other little characters like the tapir and so on. So you have the Belizean flavor in the book itself. And like I said, they're all locally written. The walkthroughs now are all from NICH's input, where Mr. Pinelo, who I will allow to speak more of it in a bit, he's the one who has really compiled the information from these walkthroughs, and I will have him share with you now a little bit more on those books, because these books are selling at a really, really good price for the month of December because of the discount. But like I've told my colleagues earlier, I said, these books in a whole are being like given to the public, are given to those who purchase them, because the amount of work that's put in these books is not cheap. It takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of resources, and so we are practically giving these books away.
Shary, you're very convincing. You really have a great sales pitch. Excellent.
Thank you.
Now that you're allowed to speak over here to my right, Mr. Pinelo. You're taking off the leash, sir.
Yeah, good morning. The publications that particularly through the Institute for Social and Cultural Research, NICH's mandate to ensure that information regarding our country, our stories are put out there. We have been collaborating with various individuals. As Shary mentioned, the Healing Circle, that book of poetry written by Mirna Manzanares and Azizi Hoy. Here we have 2 individuals from different generations sharing their feelings, and so they approached us, and the staff at ISCR assisted in terms of designing and ensuring some of the editing that it meet the criteria then of publishing. Likewise, Ms. Charlotte Neal, who a very creative Belizean author, combines the folklore characters in Belizean story time. And I must take, I do take quite a bit of pride in the walkthrough series. This series highlights the origins of our urban communities. Too often we go into town and we walk around and we don't know what the area was like, what the building, what the people who lived there, what were their lifestyle. You know, we in this day and age we tend to focus more on the outside world.
How Kayo become Kayo?
That's right.
How Danviga become Danviga?
Exactly. And
how Benke become Benke?
That is right. And by the way, we are revising the Belize City walkthrough.
So there's a Belize City walk?
Yes.
How Belize City become Belize City?
That
This journey.
The journey.
From birth to present.
Right.
Right.
All right.
And so, like, to add to Mr. Pinelo, the books themselves are catered also, maybe not only as gifts, but for tour guides. Many of our tour guides, they go into the towns, take the tourists, and so this would be a perfect resource material for them. So they themselves can have a Christmas present of the walkthroughs at a 10% discount this Christmas season.
Okay. Ultimately, these can be gifts at any time of the year. Where can they be found? Only at...
These can be found at any of the NICH offices. We are, at the moment, you can get them at the Museum of Belize also. They're presently there. And we're going to be putting them shortly at the houses of culture. So we also have plans on doing the ebooks.
Okay.
So for those people who love to scroll rather than flip,
Yeah.
then they will have the opportunity to purchase the ebooks coming in the next year.
And you did tell us about this unbelievably low price for all these books in the month of December. So you do care to give us specifically how low these prices will be?
Well, you know, like everything else, like I've mentioned before, these prices are already given. So the walkthroughs are $30 Belize less 10% discount.
Okay.
And the Healing Circle and the Belize Third Time are $20 less 10% discount.
Unbelievably low.
Unbelievably low. And like I said,
steal.
it's a giver.
It's a steal.
It's a steal deal and it's a giver.
All right.
If you have one of these in your books, it's like $1 million because the amount of work that's put in there, it's quite expensive. So it's worth it.
You've convinced us, Shary. You've absolutely convinced us. Mr. Pinelo, I've seen you present before, so I know you're a walking library, history library on Belize.
Trying to.
You are. So, just so that we can get people's appetite, you know, get it warmed up here. Give us some, give me what would be some just 3 very interesting facts that can be found in these 3 books about Cayo, Dangriga, and Benke.
Well, let me tell you, the work that I've done in putting these books together is more a lot of the editing, the compilation, the archival research. Actually, the Belize City walkthrough was, the manuscript was prepared by Mr. Lawrence Vernon.
Okay.
And so in collaboration with other individuals who assisted at some point. When I came on board, then that was one of the first projects I engaged in. And we know that the information there has to be accurate. So we do a combination of the oral history. For Cayo, Don Hector Silva, Hernando Chaeta, and these elders in the community who we interviewed also to compile the stories. And similarly for Dangriga, Mr. Francis Humphreys, who's now the mayor of Dangriga, he was instrumental in getting the manuscript, along with Ifasina Efunieri. Benke, we had David Ruiz, who along with his sister and my daughter, they worked together in preparing the oral, the manuscript.
So you're not going to give us some teasers as to what?
Yeah, well...
I appreciate that background, context, and giving credit where credit is due. But now give us a little bit, a little teaser about what's in the book.
All right, let's look. If you notice, the cover for the San Ignacio walkthrough is the bridge itself.
Yes.
You know, we walk across we drive over the Hawksworth Bridge, but
it's iconic.
Yeah, where did it come from? And so we did this research. We know that it's a bridge that was originally built in Tanganyika.
Where?
Tanganyika, Africa. And
really?
That was transported into Belize.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
It's the longest suspension bridge. It's the highest one in the country.
So when it was built there, with the intention of coming here, it was built...
Actually, they were replacing bridges there, and the colonial authorities at the time...
second-hand bridge.
Imagine. But,
and it's still legal.
But the interesting...
Hey, Cayo people none but love, but when you got a second-hand bridge did all this while, I never know.
Yeah,
a brand new thing
and well, it has gone through a series
Hawksworth?
of repairs. Gerald Hawksworth, the governor.
Oh, was that governor name? Governor thing.
Yeah, so so that's the cover we chose for the Cayo. But if you look at the back too, the reverse of the page focuses on what is the cross-country cycling classic.
Oh yes.
One event that unites our peoples throughout the years. So again, that combination of structures and individuals, the structures and communities highlights part of the walk through El Cayo.
Yeah.
Again, if we look at the old hospital in Cayo, which by the way, our sister branch, the Museum of Belize and Houses of Culture, That old hospital will be inaugurated in the upcoming week, as it has been transformed into the San Ignacio Santa Elena House of Culture. If we talk about Dangriga,
Santa Elena will get no love in that.
Oh no, Santa Elena is there.
Isn't there?
It is there.
Okay.
I mean, the story of how Santa Elena comes about. Imagine the church in Santa Elena is actually named after Saint Ignatius, whereas in San Ignacio town it's Sacred Heart of Jesus. So there are little nuances that occurred back then, religious-wise, and so our researchers, our readers, can they get peeked into finding out what are some of the differences back then. So if we look at take Dangriga, for example, we know the airstrip was right next to the Carl Ramos Stadium. Again, the pier, its early development is highlighted in that area. We found an old photograph, which by doing comparatives over the years, we are able to identify the landmarks, the historical landmarks in the community. The story of Why Not Island. Everybody goes to Why Not Island to have a good time.
Functions and events, yeah.
Where does the Why Not come from? It was actually the name of a schooner, of a sloop that sank. It had broken, ended up there right close to the seaside, and with the waters from the river coming in, all the sand, it just created this island, and hence the name of the vessel was Why Not. Now you have Why Not Island in Dangriga.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the Dangriga one.
And that's just a little tip of the iceberg,
right?
Of the stuff you will find in these books.
Talking to this elderly gentleman, Mr. Humphreys and we met with Mr. Callis, and he was telling us the story, and I eventually went back to archives, and I found the documented material that reflects on that. So again, we substantiate the oral history with archival sources.
All that and much more in the walkthrough books, but that's not the only offering at this in this holiday season from NICH. You have choices, so you can do poetry.
And if you allow me,
yes,
if I may, Benque Viejo, the cover itself is an area that still exists to this point, and it has transformed over periods of time. The back cover has an older version of that area. It's precisely where the town hall currently is. That is where the first Catholic church was built in Benque. Later on in the 1916s, it was converted into the courthouse administrative center for Benque Viejo. And 1960s, that area was again transformed into what is now the current town hall. So different communities have all these little things. And I must say, I'm working currently with Orange Walk Town, which should be our next publication, and Punta Gorda Town. And by the way, for the people in Punta Gorda, we will be down there the week of December 20, 21st. Because one of the things that we do is we gather people. People come and we take our equipment, scanners and so on, and those who have old photographs, they come in, we scan them for them, we give them their copy, we give them their originals right there and then. And we also have these interviews where they tell us the stories, so that the information that we provide them has to be as accurate as possible.
Absolutely.
Educational material, reading for fun, and tourism. So it's part of our work at the Institute for educating, keep on educating ourselves and the rest of our community.
All right. Shary, you wanted to add?
Yeah, so just to add, many times we're also looking for little gifts to take to the diaspora, to our families and friends abroad. This would be a good time. I know a lot of Belizeans are traveling, and if they would like something unique to take back, that would be of good historical memory. You could take one of these books for your loved ones abroad, and anybody who's interested from abroad can also contact us here at NICH, and I'll be providing my contact. and they can contact me in case they would like to buy maybe not one but the whole collection of the walkthroughs and the story time, the healing circle. And so it's available. It's Christmas. We love to share. We love to give at NICH. We're always doing that. So it's the time now to sell these publications, and the money that is made from these publications go right back into the Institute for Social Cultural Research so they can continue their research and do more publications.
And the contact information?
So you can contact Shary Medina at NICH. You can contact 822-3301 at Belmo Pan office, or call any NICH office throughout the country of Belize that's listed in the directory, and they'll be able to give you information as to how you can go about getting these books. But like I said, available right now at the Museum of Belize, the admin office in Belmo Pan, the NICH office, and Belize City admin.
Excellent.
Yeah. There's another thing that one of our colleagues, a couple of our colleagues are responsible for the intangible cultural heritage. And along these lines, we have produced 3 15-minute video clips. The first one on Yurume. We did one on Juan Carnaval. These are all cultural celebrations. And of course, we have the Christmas Bram. Christmas Bram focusing more on Gales Point and its celebration. And of course, it highlights aspects of the Belize River Valley, where our cultural traditions continue to be practiced. These video clips are actually available on YouTube. You can download them for free. So our teachers, anyone, please do go to YouTube. You can download them and share what it is. This comes out of a session that we had with cultural activists throughout the country. We met in Orinjoak some years ago, and the mandate from all these persons were we need to document more of our cultural celebrations. And so that's the other angle that the Institute for Social and Cultural Research is working on.
All right.
We'll be focusing in the upcoming months on arts and craft, the know-how. We see a lot of plastic taking over. And what about our traditional handicrafts people? So again, we have a combination of not only written material, but also the digital, the video clips that keeps on highlighting who we are as a nation.
All right.
Yeah. So what I will be giving to you today is a copy of the Christmas Bram video, so you can take a look.
Okay.
And you can share with your audience.
Santa come today for me.
It's a Christmas gift. It's Christmas Bram. So like we said, if anybody's interested in seeing the video, Mr. Pinelo said they can go on YouTube, and they can also get access to the Christmas Bram information.
Well, we thank you both for coming here, and we encourage folks to go and link with you. And it's a great gift idea, and we hope they take advantage of it.
Well, I hope so too. Thank you for having us. I would just like to take the opportunity to wish all residents of our lovely country listening here at home and abroad, if you're abroad, if you went to visit your loved ones, please come back and buy our books. May you have a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year on behalf of NICH. Thank you.
Excellent. We take a final break, come back and wrap up for today. I believe it is 8:59, soon to be 9 o'clock, which is when we lock shop. All right? That's how we do it. Management of time. Management of time. That's how we do it. It's the WUB. We got to give thanks to Le Petit Bakery for hooking us up with mad delicious grub for the morning. I can't even describe all the different things. Every morning I try a different one, but I know it. Actually, even when I know the host, but I know where to come by, just like where you do. Because even when you know the host, I notice it wasn't the norm before. You know, we wouldn't see him until long after 9. But now that Le Petit dropped this load, and notice, but I know we come here. So I hope that no complaints come when I drop in tomorrow morning and Friday morning and come for my 1 or 2. Fair is fair. JC, you ready to hook up today?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
All right. Who that?
Lisa.
Lisa get to?
Not yet, boy.
Lisa, you know they're on the list. Lisa, you're there on morning stew list. You don't have to work for the morning stew thing. Who don't guess this morning, Lisa?
I'm not hearing.
Who do you guess? Who that morning stew guess?
pass through.
Huh?
Junimar.
Junimar.
Junimar?
He's scheduled to pass through.
Scheduled to man, that is, you can't miss the morning stew this morning. Junimar, the great award-winning ear-to-ear producer. I'm a bedroom that. Good to hear that. Belize, we hope you have a great Wednesday. But the new Mohammed joins you tomorrow morning at 6:30 with Health and Strength. I return on Monday morning at 6:30 for another edition of My WUB, where lock off at 9. Gotta give respect to JCR Zoo technician, chief engineer at Creme Radio, upstairs at Creme Television, Mr. Cliff Lewis, along with Alexi Belial and our director Amari Montalvo. Stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're good!
Wake up, believe. Another morning sun is shining.